Welcome to the Poetic Resurrection podcast, where we explore perceptions. How self-reflecting questions can give you a better understanding of self. I'm your host, Sonia Iris Lozada. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Sonia. My voice is a little bit on the tender side today, but my intention is clear. Thank you for listening gently and being here with me. This podcast has always been about a space for reflection, where poetry meets memory and memory meets presence. Today I want to bring you into a quiet exploration that begins with a reflection called On Voices Outside of Us, and then moves into my poem, Esperando. Both pieces invite us to pause and notice how easily we look outward ourselves for direction, and how much truth waits inside when we allow ourselves stillness. So take a breath with me, settle in, and let's begin. In a world of endless reels and voices, it can be tempting to believe that truth is found out there, in the strongest message or the most persuasive tone. We scroll, we watch, we listen, and often what captures us isn't truth, but performance. A tone crafted to sound certain, a headline built to stir us, a voice that seems louder than our own. And yet, deeper truth rarely shouts. It waits in silence, it waits in your breath, it waits in the pause between thoughts, in the heartbeat you rarely notice. And as my quote states, the mind screams as the soul whispers. The still point is not swayed by clever words or flashy reels. It does not belong to influence or control. It belongs to you, a steady presence where peace is remembered and your own guidance rises. I find myself coming back to this again and again, especially as someone who creates and shares my own work. I ask myself, am I listening to my true voice, or am I bending to the noise around me? It is not always easy to tell. Sometimes the external voices feel so convincing that we forget the quiet voice inside. But when I return to breath, when I stop and listen, I realize the voice worth trusting is the one that returns me to stillness. So I invite you, here and now, take a breath. Feel that you are here. And know that nothing outside of you has the final say. The voice that belongs to you, the one that anchors you in peace, that is the one to follow. Esperando, waiting. I'm always searching, but I struggle to understand what I find. The desert sun embraces the plants while my soul sobs inside. The past life I had here is now just a collection of memories. The life that can be, the life that is, the life that was. Through haunting melodies from my youth, growing up on the blue streets, black satin shoes, stained white socks, the iguana flees in fear, suffering without tears. Eyes refuse to shut to visions of life. Why navigate the crossroads? My language of colors captures the bias of this land. When I wrote Esperando, which means waiting, I was reflecting on how memory lingers, not just as images, but as sensations, colors, even fragments of sound. The desert sun, the iguana, the black satin shoes, they all became symbols of moments that didn't fully leave us. They live in our body, they live in our imagination, and often they speak more honestly than the louder voices outside. And as I said, in Spanish, esperando means both waiting and hoping. And I think that dual meaning holds the heart of this poem. Because waiting when it feels endless can seem heavy, but waiting when we lean into it with hope becomes a space of transformation. Waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means life is rearranging itself behind the curtain. It means we are being invited to hold still long enough for truth to rise. For me, this poem carries the weight of longing, of searching for meaning, of questioning the land and the life I've known, and of realizing that even in the struggle, color and beauty will speak. And inside that, what we're all doing in some way, we wait. We search, we remember, we carry pieces of our past, fragments of who we've been, as we navigate toward we're becoming. The crossroads in the poem is one we all face. Do we listen to the noise outside, or do we turn inward, trusting the voice that is softer but more steady? Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Poetic Resurrection. I'd like to leave you with a few questions for reflection. What voices outside of you feel the loudest right now? Can you step back, even for a breath, to listen for the quieter voice within? In your own waiting, what truths or colors are beginning to emerge? If you'd like to revisit the poem or read more of my work, you can find my books and recordings at poeticresurrection.com. And if this episode resonates, I invite you to share it with someone who might need a reminder that their inner voice still matters, especially in a noisy world. Until next time, may your waiting carry hope, and may your voice inside always lead you back to stillness. Many blessings. Thank you for listening to the Poetic Resurrection podcast, available on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and many other podcast platforms. Please visit us and subscribe to our newsletter at poeticresurrection.com for the latest information and updates.